it came a point where I was starting to panic a little bit because it's like, okay, man, now be brave. You got this. So it was just a complete disaster. By then, it was starting to get nighttime, and I was like, what am I gonna do? Like, I'm completely lost. Realize how brave I am. It made me realize how I pushed through my fears. Really happy. I'm really proud of myself. And let this be an encouragement to you. Sometimes we only have ourselves to rely on.
Welcome to Mayc, she be going hard hitting, cleaning videos, and she speaking autism. We all know that it ain't what you see, but I know one thing, you should take it from me. It's in the Mayc, Mayc.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new, my name is Mayc. Hey guys, hey, what's up? How are you guys doing? Hope you are doing well. So as you guys can tell down in the title of this video, I'm going to be sharing my experience with you when I got lost in London. And I'm going to talk about my emotions, how I felt, was I scared? And all I had was myself, obviously, because it was a solo trip, to get myself out of that situation. And so I just want to share like this experience. So we have a story time. I have a story time for you today. So let's go ahead and get started. So if you are new, my name is May. I recently took a solo trip to the UK back in December. It was a dream. I love that country. I did a lot of research on it. And so my dream finally came true and I was able to go for a 2-week visit. The first week I was in Swansea, Wales. Everything was fine. I had no problems, no issues. I took the coach and went to different places that I wanted to see, would walk to different places. It was just a really nice experience. I had no problem. The issue is when your girl got to London. Now, let's see. So the morning I left Swansea, I was supposed to take my coach into London and I was supposed to get there about 3 o'clock. Your girl missed the bus, okay? So I ended up having to wait for another coach. And by then I wasn't scheduled to get to London until around 7 p.m. that night. So it gets really dark there early from what I could tell. And so the nerves kind of started to kick in once I realized that I wasn't going to get to London until it was dark because I didn't know where my hotel was. But nonetheless, I was like, okay, you know what? Let's just roll with it. Let's go with it. Because what other choice did I have? So when I finally got into London, like I said, it was dark. I did not know where I was going. I didn't know where the hotel was. And for some reason, while I was there, my Apple Maps on my phone was completely out of whack. But luckily, a few hours later, I got to the hotel and I believe I checked in like 2 hours after I was supposed to. But they were cool with it. They were fine. And I was like, okay, I made it. I'm at the room. It's going to be good. Okay, so a couple days later, everything was fine. I found my way. I was able to, navigate different places that I wanted to go to. I had no problems, no issues at all. Now, here comes when your girl got lost. So I met up with a friend out in Victoria, London. We had tea, we had a really good time, we caught up, and it was a really nice experience. And I'd never been to Victoria, obviously, so I didn't really know where I was going. So I took a train for the very first time. Everything was okay. I will say that the train isn't like glorified like I see influencers glorify it. It's a very tough, it was a very hard experience for me. The sounds, obviously, because you're on a train, but it's just interesting how influencers will like glorify everything. But when I got on there, it was a lot of people on the train. It was packed. There were odors, there were loud noises and bangs, and it was just a lot of this. And so I was thinking, dang, I should have bought some headphones. So when I got to Victoria, everything was fine. I made it. I was happy. I was proud of myself. I felt like a star. I was brave. Met up. We had a really good time. We probably met up for like 2 hours. And then finally, I was like, you know what? I really need to get back to the hotel because you know, it was starting to get dark and I didn't want to get lost because I really wasn't for sure like how to get back. But again, I had my phone, I had my navigation going. So we hugged and I was like, I'll see you this summer. And we went our separate ways. So this is where I got lost, you guys. So I put the address to the hotel in my Apple navigation and things just went wacky. Um, and I think it had something to do with the fact that you're underground. So your internet may not be as strong. It may not hold out as much as you would think it would if you weren't underground. And so it just started doing crazy things. Now, if you're someone like me who is heavily relying on that navigation and the navigation is kind of screwing up, you're going to be completely lost. And that was me. So the navigation was telling me to get off at certain locations, to get off at certain stations, and that wasn't right. The navigation was telling me to get on a certain train, but that train was going in the wrong direction because you have two trains obviously going this way. And it was telling me to get on this train and I was going back up that way. And then it was like, no, no, no. You know, it was just doing weird things. And at first I tried to like keep a positive attitude and I was like really trying to be patient, but it came a point where I was starting to panic a little bit because it's like, okay, I should have been back at the hotel, you know, hours ago, and I'm still wandering around London, wandering around this train station, completely lost. So I was like, okay, man, now be brave. You got this. It's an experience. Because all while I was there, I just viewed everything as an experience. And that's just kind of how I went through it. But as hours and hours started to get by or started to go by, I realized that I'm just not getting back to the hotel. And so I really started to get worried because my phone battery started to go low. And then it was like, okay, so what am I going to do? So finally, I got on the right train, going in the right direction. But once I got off the train at the station, I came from the underground and I was like, okay, well, I'll take a bus that would take me back to the hotel. The buses kept going in weird directions. The navigation system, again, was telling me incorrect information. I would ask someone, they didn't know. And so it was just a complete disaster. By then, it was starting to get nighttime, and I was like, what am I going to do? Like, I'm completely lost. And then guess what, guys? You're not going to believe this. My battery goes out on my phone. So I have nothing. I have no way to communicate out, right? Like I'm just here walking amongst these Londoners and I don't know what I'm doing. And so finally I was just like, okay, Maynell, you got to be brave. You got to get yourself out of this situation. You don't have your navigation. You don't have no one to call. You don't know anyone here. Like I was literally a lost stowaway in London. And something told me, and I know that this was God. He was telling me, Maynell, just keep walking straight. I want you to stay in this direction and just walk straight. Don't turn. Don't make a certain, don't go this way. Don't go that way. Like, just keep going straight. So that's what I did. And this was I walked for probably like 4 hours. Because when I got off the bus, I was a lot farther from the hotel than I thought I was. So I just kept walking. I kept walking. It was then that I realized I needed new running shoes because my shoes were a mess, and just kept walking. Finally, I started to see things that I was familiar with, and I was like, thank you, God. I'm going in the right direction. So I just kept going. And finally, I was at my hotel. I stayed lost for probably a total of I'd say 7 hours because I left around 11 was after we had our tea and talked about her wedding and stuff like that, and me and us visiting each other. So 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I was actually lost for, I'd say about 10 hours. So, anyways, when I got back to the hotel, I was just so thankful to be back. I was so happy. But you know what? I wouldn't change that experience because it made me so much stronger. It made me learn where I was going. If I ever do go back to London, I would know like how to navigate underground. And so that whole experience opened up my eyes, and it made me realize that I'm so strong. It made me realize how brave I am. It made me realize how I pushed through my fears and how I was able to navigate a foreign country all by myself, all on my own. And I'm proud of myself. Like, I'm really, really happy. I'm really proud of myself. And let this be an encouragement to you. Sometimes we only have ourselves to rely on. Sometimes we have to depend on ourselves. Sometimes we have to get ourselves, out of situations, and we don't have anyone else to call. So I hope that this story inspires you. And just remember to watch my 10. I did a video where I talked about 10 things that I would recommend when you're traveling abroad solo. So I'll leave that video linked up above or at the end of this one. Watch that video so you don't make, so you won't have to kind of go through what I went through getting lost. There were a lot of things that I learned, and I want to share it with you guys. And so I'm just so proud of myself, and I'm excited that I was able to, come back and share this story with you and talk about, yes, things in life are fun and exciting, but there can also be negative things as well. So, anyways, I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.